It was a day like any other, the sun peeking through the curtains, casting a warm glow across the room. I woke up with the usual haze of sleep still clinging to me, my mind racing with the mundane tasks that awaited. I had a meeting scheduled at work that day, one that had been weighing heavily on my shoulders for weeks. The thought of presenting in front of my colleagues, of having to articulate my ideas clearly and confidently, made my stomach churn. I had always been the quiet one in the room, the one who preferred to blend into the background rather than stand out. As I shuffled through my morning routine, I couldn't shake the feeling of inadequacy that clung to me like a shadow. I dressed in my usual business attire, the fabric stiff and unyielding against my skin, mirroring the tension building within me. I glanced in the mirror, adjusting my collar, and for a brief moment I caught a glimpse of someone I barely recognized. The reflection was that of a woman who had dreams and aspirations, yet felt trapped by self-doubt and fear. On my way to work, the world outside the window blurred by in a cacophony of colors and sounds. The city bustled with life, people rushing to their destinations, each absorbed in their own stories. It struck me how everyone seemed to be moving forward, while I felt stuck in a loop of uncertainty. As I walked into the office, the familiar scent of coffee and the hum of conversations filled the air. I took a deep breath, trying to center myself, but the anxiety bubbled just beneath the surface. The meeting room was filled with my colleagues, their faces a mix of anticipation and casual indifference. I took my seat, feeling the weight of their expectations pressing down on me. I fidgeted with my notes, rehearsing my points in my head, but the words felt heavy and clumsy. As the meeting commenced, I listened to others present their ideas with confidence, their voices steady and assured. I felt smaller with each passing moment, a mere spectator in a world that seemed to thrive on boldness. Then it happened. A question from my manager broke through the haze of my thoughts, directed at me. My heart raced as I realized the spotlight was suddenly on me. I could feel the eyes of my colleagues boring into me, their expressions a mix of curiosity and judgment. Panic surged through me, and for a fleeting moment I considered retreating into silence, to let the moment pass without having to expose myself, but then something shifted within me. In that instant, I remembered a conversation I had with my grandmother years ago. She had always been a pillar of strength in my life, a woman who had weathered storms with grace and resilience. One day, she had said to me, "You have strength inside you, my dear. It's like a fire waiting to be ignited. Don't be afraid to let it burn." Her words echoed in my mind, igniting a flicker of courage within me. I took a deep breath, feeling the air fill my lungs, and I began to speak. At first, my voice was shaky, but as I continued, it steadied. I shared my ideas, the passion behind them bubbling to the surface. I could feel the energy in the room shift as I spoke, the initial skepticism transforming into intrigue. I gestured with my hands, allowing my enthusiasm to flow freely, and for the first time, I felt the weight of my self-doubt begin to lift. As I articulated my vision, I could see nods of agreement, sparks of interest igniting in the eyes of my colleagues. The room was no longer a battleground of judgment. It had transformed into a space of collaboration and support. I could feel my heart racing, but this time it was fueled by excitement rather than fear. I embraced the moment, allowing my inner strength to guide me, to take control of my narrative. When I finally wrapped up my presentation, applause erupted around the room. I was taken aback, not just by the reaction, but by the realization that I had stepped into my power. The fear that had gripped me just moments before had dissipated, replaced by a sense of accomplishment and liberation. I had faced my insecurities head-on and emerged victorious, if only for a moment. As the meeting concluded, I felt a rush of adrenaline coursing through me. I had discovered something profound within myself, a well of strength that had been dormant, waiting for the right moment to rise. It was a reminder that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers softly, urging you to take that first step. Walking out of the meeting room, I felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. I realized that my journey wasn't about becoming someone else. It was about embracing who I truly was. I didn't have to fit into the mold of what others expected. I could carve my own path, fueled by my unique voice and perspective. That day marked a turning point in my life. I learned that inner strength isn't a grand declaration. It's found in the quiet moments of self-acceptance and the courage to step into the light. I left the office with a newfound sense of purpose, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The world outside felt different, vibrant, and full of possibilities. I had discovered that strength resides within us all, waiting for a moment of clarity to break free. In the days that followed, I carried that experience with me. I approached challenges with a renewed sense of confidence, each moment a reminder of the fire that burned within. I realized that true strength is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to confront it, to rise above it, and to embrace the journey ahead. I had found my voice, and with it, my inner strength.